Hi there, and welcome to the Rome-Floyd Chamber Small Business Podcast. We are coming to you from the Hardy Realty Studios, and we work in cooperation with the Rome News Tribune. I am Roger Manus with Rome Business Radio.
I'm Jeannie Krieger with the Rome-Floyd Chamber.
And this is, as mentioned, the Rome-Floyd Chamber Small Business Podcast. And our guests today are Oliver Robbins, who is a co-owner of U Public Relations, and Evie McNiece, who is the owner of Accounting Solutions. But Evie is a well-known name locally, as she is a former mayor and been very active in service to the community and government and other organizations like the Chamber, where she is currently serving as the chair of the Small Business Action Council. And Oliver, of course, I know one of the things we wanted to touch on, Jeannie, was the fact that Oliver has started a business here during the pandemic, which is great news that things are getting going again. So, Oliver, let's just start with you, Oliver. Let's see, how can I phrase this? What possesses one to start a business during a pandemic?
Insanity. No. What happened is we were working on a project with my former employer, which is V3 Magazine. And those guys down there are great. And I met a lot of good people working for the magazine. I worked there for 7 years and eventually became the editor-in-chief and the director of public relations. And we started a public relations division roughly 2 years ago for V3. And when we started that, we started to make all these connections, and, we wanted to focus strictly on that because it was great work. It was fulfilling work. And we wanted to kind of push the magazine maybe a little bit off the plate so that we have more time to devote to the clients in that area. And my business partner now, Mackenzie, she was the assistant editor and assistant director of public relations. We decided to kind of branch off, and start something new. And it was it felt right. It felt like the right time. And she has some connections in Tryon, Georgia, which was our initial client that we got after we left V3. And later on down the road, we actually secured a contract that we've been working, and we were able to bid on that contract and get it as well. So what we found was, even during a pandemic, Rome, Georgia is a great place to make a business grow because of the relationships that you're able to make. You sit next to these people in church, and you see them in the grocery stores, and they all work together so well. And that makes the climate for starting a new business so much easier because of the support that you have from existing business owners and people like Ms. Krieger over at the Chamber. So that's why we decided to do it, because we knew that we could because of relationships we made.
Well, and that's great. And we will circle back around to some specifics of what you guys do and what you guys offer. Let's get Evie on here. Evie, by trade, you're a numbers person, right? Just talk about your business, if you could, please.
Okay. I started this business in 2003. And we are located on East 2nd Avenue. We've had a wonderful array of clients here. We work with a lot of small businesses. We work with retailers. We work with wholesalers. We just work with a lot of different types of clients. We do all kinds of tax returns. We do personal in corporates, S-corp partnerships, estates, trust. And Oliver made my heart so full when he said that Rome is such a wonderful place to have a business because there are so many networks and connections. And that's what makes a business so successful, is to be able to have those connections. Just the chamber itself, being a member of the chamber and all of the advantages you get from them is just totally worth it. And I couldn't have done it without the chamber, to be honest with you, because I had to rely on them so much at the very beginning. But we are just a small little business, have had a great run of it, and just loving Rome.
That's the whole point, right, Jeannie?
Yeah, absolutely. And, this is one of the things I think the Chamber does best and stands for the most, is someone like Evie with her expertise. And then she's engaging with Oliver, that's a new startup, and we want to make him as successful as possible. So just those organic relationships that happen are very important, because connectivity and really just going to people for referrals of where can I go to get my taxes done, or who can I talk to about this PPP loan, or whatever. We found that it's those type of networking opportunities that the chamber provides that are really meaningful long term to our members, but it speaks to our community as well. We're very open and, willing to help others along and really want them to be successful. And as I always say, through our small business network, this is job growth, and everybody, wants there to be more jobs in Rome-Floyd County and more opportunities. So Oliver speaks well to this. We hope his business grows and he can hire 10 people in the next 5 years. That's the hope.
Well, it's funny, Evie, you've been in business for a while, and Oliver is a startup, obviously, during the pandemic. Jeannie, could you just touch on a little bit kind of the current economic climate here as we are, still in the pandemic, but people are starting to find their footing again? And what's the around Rome-Floyd County? I kind of made light of the fact he started in a pandemic because, that's not the most ideal time to start a business, but you did. So God bless you. Are others doing that as well, Jeannie?
Yes, sir.
We're seeing a good number of small business startups right now. And, perhaps it was, due to a previous layoff. But I will say this, of the layoffs that we have had, we've seen our industries and our small businesses bring people back to work. So we're encouraged by, the numbers that we're seeing. It's not nearly as detrimental as what it was. And, if you just look around Rome-Floyd County, we see growth everywhere. We cut the ribbon on Harbin Clinic Pediatrics Center. We are going to be at the Spires next week for their grand opening. Huge development. We look at East Bend and all the retail shops that are, popping up there. So we're able to see a lot of growth and a lot of, there's jobs with all those facilities and buildings, and whether it be construction workers, electricity workers, whatever. We're very encouraged by the growth and the activity that we're seeing right now, and the way our industries larger have been able to bring their employees back and fulfill kind of get to the number of shifts that they had before the pandemic.
Yeah, that unemployment number is slowly going down all over the country, which is good news. Oliver, let's talk a little bit specifically about you guys at U Public Relations. I've been to your website, so you do everything from press releases to social media management for companies. Just if you could, just kind of give us your list of services, if you will.
Yes, sir. We're a full-service public relations firm. So we go into an organization and meet with leadership, and we speak about their mission. What is it that you want to do, and how is it that we can connect you to your stake? Not what that mission is. We capitalize on it by putting it out in form of press releases that we send to outside media sources. We use their internal media sources like social media outlets like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, to also, get the message out. And we couple that with professional photography and audio video services and even graphic design. And we don't want to make it to where, people are shocked at the sticker whenever they get a proposal for us. It's important during the pandemic that we understand that everyone is having a tough time. And we want to be able to come in during this time and assist other businesses with growing and find creative ways for them to reach their client base. And that's part of our philosophy behind forming this business. And it's really neat what we had an opportunity to do is kind of look at the current climate with businesses, some of them failing, and seeing what they did that was wrong and picking apart the models that they had and finding out how we could circumvent that and not have to deal with it in case it were to happen again. And one of the things we did was we are completely mobile. We don't have a brick and mortar. We take our services to our client. And what that does, it makes it very easy for the client, but it also helps us on the back end with budgeting and making sure that we're putting enough money back to where if this were to happen again, we have a goal to put a year's worth of salaries in the bank so that our employees will be able to weather, another 6 months if they have to.
That's interesting.
And that's just part of what we did, is studying the business climate under a pandemic, is just to make sure that we were able to keep some of these things from happening to our employees.
Evie's going to love that, right, Evie? Love to hear that somebody's putting that much money back.
You better believe it. That's the type of things that we do here. What do you do long term? What are your budgeting needs? What are your long term goals? And so we have to look at, the first thing to do is, start putting some of that money back. Now, I don't think anyone expected a pandemic, as we have now. But there are times when there's emergencies or different things that come up that have to be planned for. And so a lot of my client interaction is really financial planning. And it's, when you talk to someone about your finances and your investments and your money, people are very, very uncomfortable because that's so personal. But that's what we do here is we have an office, but I've made it to feel like a home. And you come in and you feel comfortable and you know the people who are here and that we're looking at your information. We care about what's going on. And there are going to be tough times where, we're going to have to say, no, you can't buy those shoes today. You're going to have to pay your taxes instead, which is a true story. Let me tell you, that is an absolute true story. But, we make it as comfortable as possible. They know, everything is confidential here, so nothing goes out. And they love, the people which I love the people that I work with here. So it's a good situation. And Oliver is exactly right. He's looking at future goals. You have to plan short term, but have long-term goals. And Oliver is on the absolute right track.
What has the pandemic done with businesses coming to you regarding like PPP and things like that? Have you had to get involved in helping plan around those issues?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
All of my clients who were able to, look into the EIDL loans or the PPP loans, we looked at, we calculated, we did a lot of the applications ourselves for them. We're in the process now of looking at the PPP loan forgiveness applications. A lot of it is so dynamic right now. We don't know what the government's going to do with the forgiveness loans. We've heard that some of them will automatically be forgiven. A lot of them still have to provide information. And so because we work with our clients, on a weekly, monthly, annual basis, we know what they have, what they need, and we can provide all of the reports to their banks and to the SBA in order to facilitate the forgiveness. So we've done a lot with that. And like I said, a lot of the people who needed the loans needed help, just applying for it. And so that was just another aspect of what we were doing this year. And so you kind of have to think outside the box a lot of times. I don't think there's any business that is so stable that, they can't, that they shouldn't look outside the box. Hopefully, within our lifetimes, we'll never have to go through another pandemic. But you never know what else is out there that may affect our businesses.
Oliver, what besides the pandemic, what other issues maybe have you run into just as a startup?
Oh, well, connecting with people. Right now it's really tough. Thank God for things like Zoom. So Zoom has been able to really help us connect with people. And, one of the biggest challenges that we've seen lately is, budget. We operate so lean we've been able to accommodate pretty much any budget. And it feels really good to know that, you can help a business out and not take so much from them that they're looking at your services like, well, I really don't know. Most of the proposals that we give people, they're like, really, you can do it for that amount? And we're like, yeah, and as things progressively get better, which I'm a glass half full guy, I think that they will, we're hoping that these relationships that we form will allow us to grow with that business that we assisted when they were kind of down on their luck. So I think that with a great network like we have here in Rome, small businesses have started to work together, which I'm really excited to see, a lot of different organizations coming together and making things happen, because we can do more with cooperation than we can if we're, constantly competing with the person that's right next to us. So that is another element I've seen come out of this that I feel like is very important for us to continue even after things get better, is to continue the networking and the collaboration. And that's why I decided to go down and speak with Ms. Krieger at the Chamber, and they've been very welcoming. I've had several opportunities to highlight my business, and Mackenzie Todd and I went on a radio show, and we were able to talk, and it's 7:30 in the morning, bright and early, and we're up talking about what we do, and we're excited about it. So everybody I've spoken to, and this is no lie, they've been so supportive of everything that we're trying to do, from Mayor Bill Collins to, school teachers who we work with. They've been very supportive of what we're trying to do. And that's something that I really enjoy about operating a business, is being able to chart your course and build it in a way to where you want to be proud of the work that you're doing and the relationship that you have with others.
Well, the beauty of podcasting is we're on tape, so I didn't make you get up early.
Yeah, there you go. That was really, really early.
Do you find that is most PR these days done through social media?
A lot of it is. And, it's just the nature of the beast. With technology, the way it's, advancing in such a rapid way, everyone has a phone in their hand. Everyone has a laptop, or everyone has a tablet. So they get their media and they get their advertisements through those mediums. Print publication is still very effective. And I don't want to ever discount that, because that's my background. There are certain places where you can put a client in the forefront using print publications, but we've had a lot of success with social media because you can track the data. So at the end of every month, we provide a report to each organization we work with, and they can line up the engagement on social media with their books and see if this program that we offer them is actually hitting home where it should hit home, which is in the pocketbook. So if we can say we've had this amount of increase on social media and you had a huge spike in the month of September, you can correlate your books to the services that we offer, and you can see the value in what we do. With print publication, you just hope that people read it, and I do find that print is very, very effective, but social media and the internet is the way of the future, and if you want to, avoid getting on that train, then you might be left behind. You kind of have to move with the times, So we do lean heavily on electronic ways to reach people. So we just found that it works.
Gotcha. Evie, do you, in your business, is marketing important?
But most of mine is word of mouth. Most of mine is, talking to others, being involved, referrals from, people that I've done work for in the past. Because one of our mantras here is we are going to provide service, and we're going to provide it on a timely basis, and we're going to provide it correctly. And people know that. And so a lot of our business growth, I guess, is from referrals.
And Roger, if I can just tell you a story about Evie, right when the pandemic was probably at its worst, and we were going through so much information so fast about what businesses could do and could not do, the funds that were available, the relief funds, and how to apply for those. Evie was one of the first calls I made, and I said, we have so many businesses in need. If somebody needs just to ask a question, can you do that and not charge them? And she said, absolutely, I'll do whatever. And so that's the kind of attitude that just, makes our community work well. I think, I'm not sure, Evie probably knows who said this originally. I say it all the time, but there is a saying, working together works. And
Yes.
That is so true. It really, when we all work together, we all promote each other, each business better, but it makes our community strong.
Well, one of the things Oliver mentioned earlier was that you're not brick and mortar. You can go see your clients, and a lot of businesses, as Jeannie just touched on, have found a new way. They've kind of adjusted. So while business may grow and people will do their thing, there may be less brick and mortar or smaller brick and mortar. I have a television background. I come out of television news, and every newsroom, like for example in Atlanta, Georgia, is huge with hundreds of people in it. So they're, you're paying huge rent and large leases and things like that. But I think television news is going to change with smaller newsrooms because people can now report from anywhere at any time with their telephones. And so Oliver, back to your point of the fact that you can go to clients, does that help you probably does that help with your connectivity in that they don't have to come to a brick and mortar to engage you in business?
Absolutely. The chamber, let's just take them as an example. If they wanted, somebody to start marketing some new events that they had coming up for their clients, they don't have to come to us for photography. We go to them. They don't have to come to us for an interview. We go to them. You can do what you do best, and you don't have to worry about the back end. If you need something, you make one phone call, you have one point of contact, and we show up to your door. An example of that is we have an auto garage, Smith's Auto Repair. It's a two-man thing. They've got one bay. He just put in a new machine where he's doing tires now. And he said, I want to get this out there and let people know that I can now service vehicles by changing tires and, managing all that different things that come along with it. And I said, okay. I said, well, let's come in and take some pictures of it. He actually, we're going to pull my truck in and use my truck tires for staging the photos. And then we're going to do a client appreciation for him where I'm going to put a grill on the back of my truck, drive it over, and we're going to provide some hot dogs and have some people over that are clients of his. I tell folks all the time, I don't want to look at them as clients. I want to look at them as partners, and if we can get together and do some things together, then we can all grow together. And this is a great place for it, Rome, Georgia, because word gets around pretty quickly.
Okay.
Well, Evie, you're a little bit the opposite there because as I like the way you described your brick and mortar is you created a home feel environment where people come in and they've probably done business with you for years. They feel comfortable walking in there just like they've done it before. They don't like writing a check to the government, but the way you engage your customers is still just come see me, right?
That is true. But with the way we're connected, through email and text and, Zoom and all these, other avenues, it's a whole lot easier. And what I do is I give every one of my clients, they have the office phone, but they also have my cell phone number. Because what I tell them is if an issue comes up or you have a question at 9:00 at night and it really is weighing on your mind, you need to call me and let's work it out right then and there. First of all, so that we know that, you're on the right track financially or tax-wise, but it's going to help you sleep. And I'd rather, as Oliver said, he thinks of his people as his clients as partners. Well, I've had mine for so long. Mine are friends.
That's
so
right.
I don't get calls from clients. I get calls from my friends who have an issue. And I mean, I've actually gotten calls up till midnight. Now, as someone said, the new 60, maybe 30 or whatever, but at 9:00, it's midnight to me. So I tell them, call me up till about 9:00. because I'll be awake. After that, my answers may not make a whole lot of sense, but they can still call me.
Well, while you're mentioning your contact information, do you have a website or social media presence or a phone number just so people listening can reach out to you for business questions? What's the best contact thing for you? Email address, whatever you want.
Okay. Well, the phone number here at the office is 706-237-6070. And my email is at comcast.net. And we welcome, anyone to call, email, text, walk in. If you have a question, you're driving by and you say, oh, I meant to ask Evie that, come on in. I always have plenty of coffee, tea, cappuccino, whatever you need. And like I said, it's like coming to my home. I want to make it welcoming. I want to make you comfortable. We'll feed you whatever it takes to make you feel good. You come on in.
Oliver, what is contact information for you guys, or social media, or wherever you want to promote your business, website, etc.?
Yes, sir. Well, first I want to say, Miss Evie, I'm coming by because that sounds like a wonderful place to be. You can reach us at upublicrelations@gmail.com, and that is the letter U. It is not the word you. It is U, literal, publicrelations@gmail.com, and there you will find individual emails for each member of our staff if you want to reach out to us individually. We also have Facebook, as of course is U Public Relations, Twitter, and Instagram. So you can find us on all those mediums, and we have a lot of interesting material on there because we do more promoting our clients than we do promoting out what's going on in school systems and local businesses here in Rome.
Is there a story behind the U, just using the letter U?
Yes, sir. If you look at the logo that we designed, it's actually two people who are connected, and our little tagline is your mission plus your community. So we want to make sure that everyone understands who you are by connecting you to the people who you serve.
That's great.
Or I just love you.
I love you too. I do. I remember back a while back, you and I spoke up behind Traditions.
That's
and
right.
You had your car decorated for tailgating. So.
Right.
And you are a Dogs fan, so it was kind of like a match made in heaven. I was like, she is fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Well,
yes,
it's just a great big love fest here on the Rome-Floyd. Jeannie, any final thoughts? Anything you guys, Expo coming along, things like that?
Absolutely. November 5th, we have an opportunity for folks to sign up to be in person and virtual at no added charge. And we're seeing some are more comfortable, being in person, and some are more comfortable being virtual, but you have the opportunity to do both. But we're really excited about the number of booths we've sold so far. I think we're over the 50% mark, and that's always exciting. And so we're just planning, and we have all the protocols in place to keep everyone very safe. And, it's a great time for us to emphasize again why shopping in Rome and Floyd County is so important. It helps sustain jobs for these businesses. And so at the kickoff of the holiday shopping season, we want to make sure we're representing our membership well. So we look forward to that event.
Fantastic. Well, thanks everybody for joining us, and I apologize for any internet issues. The connectivity kind of came and went on me, but we'll fix it in editing. That's what it's for.
I need to correct one thing if I can. It's upublicrelations.com instead of at gmail.com. Gmail.com is the email address. upublicrelations.com is the website.
Gotcha.
So I just want to make that correction.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. No worries. But that's Oliver Robbins with U Public Relations. Thank you, Oliver, for joining us. And Evie McNiece with Accounting Solutions. Thank you, Evie, for joining us. Jeannie, as always, been a pleasure.
Thank you, Roger. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
This has been the Rome-Floyd Chamber Small Business Podcast. I'm Roger Maness, along with Jeannie Krieger. We've been broadcasting from the Hardy Realty Studios, and we work in cooperation with the Rome News Tribune. Thanks for listening.